My goal today is to get you to wear red shoes. I'm sure you've been wondering why I have these red shoes on. By the way, about 4 weeks ago, I spoke at a conference where I had to get up early in the morning, threw my shoes. I have a bunch of different pairs of red shoes, threw them in my bag, got to the conference, went to get dressed, and I realized I'd grabbed 2 right shoes. So I had to wear right shoes, and I told the story to the audience I was speaking to, and throughout the presentation, they kept showing my red shoes, which always brought up a laugh. So I'm human. So hopefully as we get through this today, I can convince you of that. See, there's 2 things in life. You can live a life of mediocrity, or you can live a life of creating red shoes experiences. And I'm going to come back to this at the very end of the presentation. And I don't know about many of you. And by the way, I'm not going to tell you anything today that you don't already know. I'm just going to remind you. I'm not a motivational speaker or an inspirational speaker. I just believe in treating people a certain way. I believe in the customer experience, the client experience. I was never taught, and I'm sure all of you were taught the same things, to be second. My parents never said, Lonnie, I want you to go out and take second place. So mediocrity was something that we didn't talk about. They always said, let's go out and win. So before we get into the red shoes, let me just talk about perspective. I just want to change things for just a minute, get you to think about a couple of things, a couple of concepts. Think for a minute about what our mentors taught us, what our parents taught us, what our grandparents, our leaders, our coaches, our friends. What were some of the things that they taught us in our lives? To work hard, the golden rule, do exactly what you said you were going to do, be honest, have integrity. So I submit something to you about that. What happens? Where does that go? Does the noise of the world get so loud that we can't hear those things that we were taught anymore by our mentors? Or do we take those very things and we bring them back in to our lives and to creating these great client experiences? What did you want to be when you were young? This is an interview question that I've asked when I interview people, and I've probably interviewed hundreds of people over the years. And this is always a question that when I ask, people smile. You think about this for just a minute. Do you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, tax preparer, football player? See, I believe that whatever it is that you wanted to be when you were young stays with you. It's inside of you. It never leaves. And the challenge of life is being able to take what's inside of you and translate that back into the job that you have today. So, this is an interesting picture. You can see that this gentleman is climbing into a ring. He's got a pair of red shoes on. He's got a red bandana on, and he's got a chair, which you know is not a good thing if he's taking a chair into a ring. What's interesting about this, and going back to what did you want to be when you were young, this is actually my father. And my father was a professional wrestler. So growing up in my family, I got to meet all kinds of characters. How many people have seen The Princess Bride? You know Fessig in The Princess Bride? Andre the Giant? He used to stay at my house when I was a little boy. And we lived in New Jersey. And I remember him coming over and staying at our house. And Andre the Giant was 7'4", and back then he had this huge afro, which made him look like he was about 8 feet tall, and I was scared to death of him. My mother had bought a brand new kitchen table and kitchen chairs and was making breakfast one morning, and Andre came out, and I was kind of in the kitchen with my mom, and whenever he would come out, I'd just kind of run back and hold my mother's leg and just hide and stare at this man. But he went to sit down on this new kitchen table and lost his footing a little bit and brought the kitchen table down, broke it. And my mother, who was all of 5'0", walked over to him and hit him. And I remember when she hit him, I said, Mom, don't hit this guy. He could do some damage.